Get them back on the line, Daniel. I don't care how. Just do it. Clara Voss's voice cut through the air like glass. The sleek boardroom was silent except for her heels striking the floor. Her company, her empire, was hanging by a thread. On the other end of the call, her lawyer stammered. "They've walked, Clara. Tokyo's team said negotiations are over." "Over?" she snapped. "We've spent 2 years building this deal and they're walking because of a misinterpreted clause? Are you kidding me?" She slammed her palm on the table. Every eye in the room darted away. "Do you know what I've sacrificed for this?" Her voice cracked, not from weakness, but from pride. 18-hour days, no vacations, no family. And now I'm supposed to watch everything I built collapse because some translator couldn't understand the contract? Silence. Her reflection glared back at her from the glass wall, powerful, perfect, furious. But behind her sharp eyes was something deeper. Fear. "Find me a solution, Daniel," she hissed, "or find a new job." She ended the call and exhaled sharply. Her chest heaved. The room felt too small for her anger. Her assistant entered quietly. "Ma'am, the restaurant's ready for your investor dinner. You should eat." Clara brushed past him, grabbing her coat. "I don't eat when I'm losing." And yet, in an hour, at a quiet 5-star restaurant downtown, one man with a name she wouldn't remember, Marcus, a waiter, would do something no translator, no lawyer, no executive could. He would solve the $800 million disaster she'd just unleashed. And before the night was over, Clara Voss, the woman who laughed in his face, would be speechless. Clara Voss arrived at the Sapphire Room at 8:10 p.m., 10 minutes late, as always. She liked to make an entrance. The maitre d' bowed slightly. "Miss Voss, your table is ready." Her heels clicked across the marble as other guests turned to look. She thrived on that, the attention, the silent acknowledgement of power. The investor dinner had one purpose, to secure a replacement deal, $800 million in overseas manufacturing rights. If she failed tonight, her company's valuation would plummet by morning. She adjusted her blazer, smoothed her hair, and nodded. "Let's make this fast." At her table sat 3 men from Makotech International, 2 Japanese executives and a French intermediary. They rose politely as she approached. "Ms. Voss, an honor," said Mr. Tanaka with a bow. She smiled thinly. "Let's skip the formalities. We're all here to make money." As they ordered, a waiter approached. Tall, calm, mid-30s, dark skin, warm eyes. His name tag read, Marcus. "Good evening. May I take your order?" he said smoothly. Clara didn't look up. "Yes, water, no lemon, and make sure the steak's not overcooked this time." The men chuckled awkwardly. Marcus smiled politely. "Of course, ma'am." She finally glanced at him, sharp, dismissive. "You new here?" "Yes, ma'am. Just started last month." "Well, try not to ruin the night for us." He nodded gently. "I'll do my best." She waved him off like a fly. Minutes later, Marcus returned with drinks, balancing the tray with precision. One of the executives said something softly in Japanese to his colleague, then chuckled. Marcus responded, in perfect Japanese. The table froze. Clara blinked. "You speak Japanese?" Marcus smiled modestly. "A little. I spent 5 years working in Tokyo." Tanaka looked delighted. "Ah, you sound native. Which part?" "Shinjuku," Marcus replied, pouring water with care. Clara forced a laugh. "Well, that's unexpected. A waiter with hobbies." Tanaka frowned slightly. Marcus bowed respectfully and stepped away. The atmosphere shifted. Clara didn't notice. She was too focused on impressing Tanaka with numbers and projections. But Marcus, from a distance, could see everything unraveling. He caught fragments of their conversation, mistranslated phrases, awkward pauses, subtle cultural slips Clara didn't catch. And, as he cleared a nearby table, He quietly realized something. The interpreter she was counting on hadn't shown up. The deal dinner stretched past an hour, and Clara could feel it slipping through her fingers. Every time she tried to emphasize profit margins, Tanaka responded with polite hesitation. The French intermediary misinterpreted phrases, softening her assertive tone into something arrogant. "Ms. Voss," Tanaka said carefully, "perhaps we discuss tomorrow?" Her chest tightened. "No, tonight. We finish this tonight." Her assistant whispered, "Clara, maybe we should—" "Quiet," she snapped. Across the room, Marcus refilled a nearby table's glasses, listening quietly. Tanaka's colleague muttered in Japanese, "She doesn't understand. She's offending us." Marcus's jaw tightened. He glanced toward Clara, who was now laughing sharply at her own joke, a joke that fell flat. When he passed her table again, she didn't even look up. "Another bottle of Merlot," she ordered curtly. "Yes, ma'am." But as he turned, Tanaka's translator stood abruptly. "Excuse me, Ms. Voss," he said. "I must step outside." He left quickly, phone pressed to his ear. Without him, chaos began. Clara tried to negotiate directly in English, and every sentence came out wrong. Tanaka frowned. "You mean reduce our ownership?" Clara blinked. "What? No, I meant we increase your stake to 40%. But you said 25. She exhaled sharply. "This is ridiculous. Do you understand English or not?" The table went cold. Marcus froze mid-step. Even the air seemed to pause. Tanaka's polite smile faded. "Ms. Voss, I think we are done for tonight." They stood. Clara shot up, panic in her eyes. "Wait, please, sit down." But they bowed stiffly. "We will reconsider our partnership." As they turned to leave, Marcus stepped forward instinctively. "Excuse me, gentlemen." His voice was low but clear. "If I may clarify something, Ms. Voss didn't mean to insult your offer." Clara turned, furious. "Stay out of this." Tanaka hesitated. "You understand Japanese?" Marcus switched languages seamlessly. "She's under pressure. Her translator made a mistake. She actually offered you 40%. Tanaka blinked, processing. 40? "Yes. She values your partnership deeply." Clara stared, speechless. Tanaka slowly sat back down. "Then perhaps we continue." Marcus bowed respectfully. "I'll bring your wine." As he walked away, Clara exhaled shakily, pride wrestling with disbelief. Who was this man? When the investors excused themselves for a restroom break, Clara approached Marcus. "What was that?" she hissed. "You just hijacked my meeting." He met her glare calmly. "I didn't mean to interfere, ma'am, but your message was being lost." "Lost?" she scoffed. "You're a waiter. You serve wine, not interpret billion-dollar contracts." Marcus nodded. Understood. He turned to walk away. Something about his calmness infuriated her. "Wait," she said sharply. "Where did you even learn Japanese?" He paused. "Tokyo. I worked for the embassy for a few years before moving here." Clara blinked. "Embassy?" "Yes, ma'am. Diplomatic translation. I left after my wife passed away." Her mouth opened slightly, then shut again. She wasn't used to feeling small. Marcus gave a faint smile. "If I may, your offer structure still has an error. The clause on profit redistribution. It sounds predatory in translation. That's why they pulled back." She stared. "You read the contract?" "I saw a copy on your table when I brought the wine." She almost laughed. "You read legal contracts while serving tables?" "I notice things," he said softly. "Languages are habits that never leave." The investors returned. Marcus stepped aside, bowing respectfully. For the next half hour, Clara let him stand silently near the table. listening, translating when needed. And every time he spoke, the room warmed again. Tanaka smiled more. The conversation eased. Marcus's confidence was quiet but magnetic. When the meeting ended, Tanaka extended his hand to Clara. "We will send a draft tomorrow. Perhaps this partnership still lives." She smiled faintly. "Thank you, Mr. Tanaka." As they left, Clara turned to Marcus. "You saved that deal tonight?" He shrugged. "You saved it, ma'am. I just helped it make sense." But when she offered him a tip, he shook his head. "No, thank you. I don't help people for money anymore." She watched him walk away, this man she'd mocked, wondering how many other things she'd misjudged in her climb to the top. The next morning, Clara received an urgent call. "Ms. Voss, Tanaka's team wants a final confirmation video call. In 30 minutes. She froze. Her translator was still unavailable. Without thinking, she called the restaurant. "Is Marcus there?" Yes, but..." "Put him on." Minutes later, his calm voice answered. "Ms. Voss, I need you. Now." Within 20 minutes, Marcus was at her office. No uniform, just a clean shirt, sleeves rolled. "You really trust me for this?" he asked gently. "No," she admitted. "But I don't have anyone else." They sat before the massive screen as the call began. Tanaka appeared with his team. Marcus translated every word with grace, precise, respectful, bridging two worlds seamlessly. At one point, Tanaka's lawyer asked a complex question in Japanese. Marcus paused, then turned to Clara. "He's asking about ethical commitment clauses. If you answer wrong, it'll sound deceitful." Clara hesitated. "Then, how do I answer?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Speak from truth, not from power." She took a breath and did exactly that. For the first time, her tone was sincere, not commanding, not desperate, just human. By the end of the call, Tanaka nodded. "We accept the partnership. Congratulations, Ms. Voss." As the call ended, Clara turned slowly toward Marcus. "You just saved my company." He smiled softly. "You saved it yourself. I just translated your heart." She stared at him. This man she once reduced to the help. Something changed in her eyes. Clara drew a slow breath, the skyline glowing behind her like a wall of fire. "Because I saw you as less. And you were the best person in the room." Her voice wavered for the first time since he'd met her. Marcus's eyes softened. "You were under pressure. I've seen worse." "That's not an excuse." She walked closer, stopping a few feet from him. "When you spoke that night, you didn't just save my deal. You reminded me that intelligence, grace, and dignity don't wear a title." He looked out over the city lights. "I never wanted to prove anything. I just didn't want anyone else to lose something because of words." She smiled faintly. "Then let me use mine right this time." From her desk, she picked up a folder and slid it toward him. "This is an official offer. I want you to head our new global relations department. Build bridges, the way you did for me." Marcus hesitated, the weight of the moment settling in. "That's generous, but I don't have the credentials your board expects." "You have something rarer," she replied. "Perspective." He considered, then nodded slowly. "If I can help others be heard, I'm in." They shook hands. For the first time, Clara's grip wasn't one of power, but of respect. As Marcus turned to leave, she called out, "Marcus, thank you." He smiled, half turning at the doorway. "You already said it, in every language that matters." The elevator doors closed behind him. Clara stood by the window, eyes glistening. The city shimmered below, not as her empire, but as a world finally seen through new eyes.